Go, baby, go.
The last tune, Bird and Lay Down, I'd had for a minute, and I always thought it was cool. And it was one of the first times I'd tuned my guitar to a weird tuning and just tried to write something. And there's nothing special about that song, but when you're used to putting your hands on an instrument and everything sounds the same, and then all of a sudden you just do this little magic and where you push your fingers don't make any sense anymore, something new pops out that never would have happened. And I remember when I stumbled upon that one, I had written it for, just as a song to have, and then ended up not finishing it up until Daylong. But it really was this thing. I was like, one day we're gonna do this moody scene. It's gonna be really quiet and really creepy and really, thought-provoking. And I had a little bit of it done, but I just kind of put it on the shelf. And then when we got to Daylong, it felt like this could be one of those songs that is in the lineage of like a Skip James, Hard Time Killing Floor blues. When people think about the blues, they think about, your classic, whatever from Texas blues to Robert Johnson, all those things. But my favorite stuff from that era is the more folk storyteller songs. And so Skip James's Hard Time Killing Floor blues was for sure the song that was always in my head. I first, like most basic white people, heard that song from Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and then I went down the magic that is Skip James, and so much of his story inspired Daylong. And that kind of vibe was like, well, that's a blues song as well. So when we meet Nehemiah and he says, I'm this great blues player, the first, the kid in me that played Stevie Ray Vaughan was kind of afraid because it wasn't a traditional blues song, but then you start to find this country folk blues, and it absolutely fits in that space, in my opinion. And when we played it for Keith, Keith showed up and just immediately got what we were trying to do. He saw this, this is a blues song, but it's not the kind of blues that most people are associating with the blues when they hear that term. It's definitely hearkening back to the 20s and the 30s and those really country storyteller blues. And I think I think he nailed it in the film for sure.
Can't nobody sing the blues better than me. 'Cause ain't nobody got them as bad as me.
Every song from the film was done, the track was mostly done when I got to set and we had to do the vocals for it, but we wanted Bird and Lay Down to be performed live. And getting Keith to do it and showing up on set, he thought he was gonna have to play. He was a little nervous at first because he was like, man, I don't know if I can sing this, and this is a weird tuning. He's a great guitar player, but it wasn't, if you change the strings, you may as well be learning a different language. And so what if we just go out to the location and just, you and me, just record this thing? It'll be as simple as possible. And I called my buddies Matt and Johnny, and we set up some microphones, and we ran out in the middle of nowhere to film that scene, and we recorded the song during lunch. And, as luck would have it, someone down the road decided to build a well that day. And I don't think I've ever heard anything louder in my life than the sound of someone drilling for a well. And so our producing partner, Carl, drove out there with whatever little money he had in his pocket to try to bribe these people. And I don't think he ever actually bribed them, but what he got them to do was turn off the machines for 10 minutes to discuss the bribe, as it were. And in those 10 minutes, me and Keith had done 2 takes with all the noise, and I was like, this isn't gonna work. How am I gonna do this? And then Carl shows up, unbeknownst to me, and gets them to talk about maybe stopping their stuff for some money. And in that 10 minutes, we got 2 takes, and what you hear in the film is these little itty bitty, it's 2 takes edited together, but that was just because the magic of Carl Horseman showing up and trying to sweet talk some construction workers in the middle of nowhere, and we got our take.